For Christmas.
You can keep going. You didn't have to stop.
There is just
there it
one
is.
thing.
Welcome to the Midday Show. I'm Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina.
It scared me when it said live.
I didn't want to. We are in the brightest room in America today.
Oh, dear God.
The spirit is moving through us. It is that time of year. And welcome again to the Midday Show. Another 12 days of giveaways. We are on day 11. It is flying by.
It is flying by.
Envelopes
Thank God
are being stuffed. Envelopes are being stuffed. People are responding to the messages. Again, if you are a winner from a past show, check your Facebook inbox. We've probably reached out to you at this point, and we're going to be sending them out soon. Before we get to all of that, we're going to review how you have a chance to win. We're going to go over the question of the day. Mark, how are you feeling today?
We only have one more day to win.
It's pretty crazy.
We are out of days to win. I am feeling mostly good. I got some little more shopping done last night, got some wrapping done last night, watched a lot of Die Hard, then I went to bed because I was tired. And I've come to a decision, like when I'm president, the people who are going to be thrown in jail forever and ever and ever are people who made Christmas cookies.
Because you just can't.
I had a friend drop off Christmas cookies yesterday. Jerry had one.
Yep.
I threw you one Hershey Kiss.
You did.
And the rest, and they're gone. Essentially, there's a couple. There's a little.
You housed them.
All the rest of them in here.
You housed them. You have a little bit of like the Tim Allen Santa Claus going on. Like the hair's a little slicked back. You got a little scruff going. You went.
I thought you were saying I got fat.
No, you went with the crew neck.
I was like, well, I did eat a whole thing of cookies.
That's right. You went with the crew neck sweatshirt. You ate the whole tin of cookies. You kind of, the whole Santa Claus.
Well, the sweatshirt has a theme to it too. But yeah, I feel like right now, if that friend walked up and saw me standing by a lake, he'd say, "You look cut." That's what I'm feeling that right now.
I can't decide if it's the lack of snow. I can't decide if it's Christmas falling on a Saturday. It does not feel 2 days away from Christmas. It just doesn't feel like it.
I'm with you. So I got my shirt here. You can't see it because there's so much. It says, "What's it say? One of us is going to jail, and it's not going to be me." This year, I've done the worst Christmas shopping of my life.
Really?
For those few people that actually loved me will love me less this year because I've done that. But I've done really well for myself. I found this, and I was like, well, that's cool. Who should I get it for? And I was like, forget that. Get it for yourself. So I've bought myself some really cool things. For other people, I have not done well.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, at least you're not like me and you made your list 2 days ago.
Well, I don't make a list. I just kind of, wing it. But usually I wing it a lot better than this. This has been a bad year. Although I had like an ancillary person in my life that I just stumbled. Do you have those? Like somebody, I don't know if I've ever bought this person a gift before, but I stumbled across something and I was like, that's perfect. And it was like $10. So there are a couple I'm really proud of. It's just not for like the people closest to me who are probably expecting something good.
You're going to have to explain ancillary to me.
Ancillary?
Yeah.
Fringe.
Okay. So somebody kind of like outside
somebody
your
that's
immediate
in
circle.
my life, but not somebody who would have ever gotten a gift. Like a Christmas card person, but not a gift person.
Nice. Okay.
But I saw this and I was like, it's so because it's going to bring a smile to their face and it's going to make me feel like I, did something good.
Yeah.
And so when everyone else is disappointed, I would just say, well, text her. She liked her gift.
No, that makes sense. Quick review. In order to have a chance to win tomorrow on the last day, like, comment, share this video. You'll have a chance to get your name drawn. We spin the wheel and you will receive a gift card if your name is drawn. Again, this is the last day, the last opportunity to have a chance to win tomorrow. Today's winners will be from yesterday's video. You don't have to do all three. You can just do one. But obviously, if you like, comment, and share, that's your best odds at winning. Today's question of the day, who is your favorite Christmas movie character from a movie or show? Let us know why. We are interested in what your main favorites are. Mark and I actually went through and we made our list of, I think ours are a little more of like the supporting background.
Right.
And we're going to dive into some of those like maybe secret people you don't necessarily think of firsthand. Let's put it this way. Maybe they're not on the front of the movie poster, but they clearly mattered or they made a difference in how you appreciated the movie. Is that a decent way?
Like
to
one that
it?
comes obviously when you think of Christmas Vacation, you think of Chevy Chase.
Sure.
But Cousin Eddie isn't very far down the list.
Yeah.
So who others? And just like when the grandma when she does the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it's pretty
kills
good.
me every time.
No, it's a pretty
every
good moment.
time.
So as we're talking a little bit today, go ahead and comment your favorite movie characters from a movie or show. Let us know why. And we're going to go through our list. Should we start with our list and then dive in?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do you got?
So just, you know me, I'm like a little OCD. So what I did was I pulled up a list of movies. This is how I made my list.
When you say a little.
A little.
Okay.
I'm not organized, but I do have a little OCD. So what I did was I pulled up a list of Christmas movies. Anytime I read the movie and the first character that came to my head was not the main character of the movie, I wrote it down.
Okay.
I thought that was a good way to kind of balance it. The first person that came to my mind, obviously the first movie that came up on the list was It's a Wonderful Life. I will always remember the first time watching it. It wasn't George Bailey. It wasn't Clarence. It wasn't anybody else. Mr. Potter, as the most simplistic villain that works, has always stayed with me. He is the first, when I think of It's a Wonderful Life, he is the first person, and I don't know if I was so young the first time I saw it that I was like, that guy's mean. But it has stayed with me. It is the first face I picture when I think of It's a Wonderful Life.
You can tell your age because if your comment was that guy's mean, then it means you were young.
Yes.
If you're a little older, you're using a term other than mean.
Right.
But no, he may be the consummate Christmas villain. He's one of the great villains in film history, let alone just Christmas.
And there's some, just like the bald head, it almost, you feel like he should have like a monocle, like the Monopoly guy kind of setup. He's always behind the desk, and there's just something very powerful about him that I don't know. It's the villainness of him has always stayed with me.
He's got a Darth Vader-ish quality.
Yes, that's a very, very good way of putting it.
He's awesome.
Yes.
The villain in Die Hard is perfect.
Okay. What's his thing again? And was it Alan Rickman or was this another guy?
No, it was him.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Alan
guy
Rickman.
who played Snape.
Okay, yes, and Harry Potter.
What's his first?
Severus?
Severus. That's it.
Yeah.
Severus.
Yes.
I was going to say Sylvester, and I knew that wasn't it.
No. Saved yourself there.
But yeah, Potter is fantastic.
It's good.
One of the ones that I love is Uncle Billy.
Okay.
Because just the bumbling idiot he's so lovable, but he's perfect for that role as well. And you need Uncle Billy in the show. Another stupid little trivia while we're on It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
The pool scene when they open up the guy who's talking to Mary Bailey when what's his name butts in is Alfalfa from the Little Rascals.
Really?
And I don't know if a lot of people realize when you see it again, you're like, oh, it does look like him.
Huh.
But that's an older Alfalfa.
Okay. Yep. I did not know that.
There you go.
Nice. Good trivia fact. Another one that's always stuck with me, the Home Alone movies. I don't know if the Wet Bandits or the Sticky Bandits get enough credit.
Oh, that's immediately who I think.
They are, and I get like the whole and like I'm not saying that it's not McAllister's movie, right? Like I'm not saying it's not Coley McHawkin's movie. However, I don't think of him first when I think of Home Alone. I think of Pesci and I believe it's Stern.
Whatever the guy's name.
I think it's Stern.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
In my memory, and I haven't seen it in a while, those are the only three in the movie. Like, I know he's got a family and a bunch of people. It is those three, and that's it. It could be a three-man play for all I care.
But just Pesci and Stern and just the whole shtick of them as the bumbling fools, the bumbling thieves, that is always the first part of that movie. As great as McCulkin was at his age, I don't know if that movie works without Pesci and Stern.
I agree with you.
Because you have to believe that they're stupid enough to do some of this stuff, but you have to also believe they're a threat at the same time. And some of the faces Pesci makes and his reaction to stuff, and when the blowtorch like goes over his head and his scream, I mean, that's the stuff I think of when I think of Home Alone.
I'm with you.
Okay,
I'm with you.
That's the other one. This is my personal favorite. The Muppets Christmas. I'm not going to say any of the Muppets, but Michael Caine as Scrooge is just he took the role so seriously.
He drilled it.
He nails that. And I don't know. Obviously, if you watched Muppet stuff, there is a lunacy to what is going on, right? And you have to be, as an actor, you kind of have to accept it. Caine doesn't accept it. Like, Caine very much plays that role, very straight-faced, and like he treats the Muppets as if they are like real Shakespearean actors, and it works. That's the insane part about the whole thing, is it plays and it works. And I think for me, that's why it's my favorite Christmas movie, is what Caine was able to pull off.
As my daughter always says, 2-time Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
Playing with the dolls.
Yeah.
I love the narrators.
Yeah, Gonzo and
the Rat are just, when he knocks him off the thing, and when he's got his tail on fire and he knocks him off into the freezing water.
Yeah.
I love the narrators.
It's pretty great. The other two that I have, this one's pretty quick. Yukon Cornelius. If you've ever seen the old puppet Rudolph's, him with the pick and him licking it for the salt, and just Yukon Cornelius is a character. There could have been a whole series just on Yukon Cornelius, like Adventures with Yukon Cornelius. He is the first thing I think of when I think of those classic Rudolph movies. Always.
No, I would agree with that too. And in Trading Places, the Mortimer, the Duke brothers, Randolph and Mortimer Duke, who are Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy. I think of them as quickly as I probably think of them before I think of Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
I think of Eddie Murphy right away.
Yeah.
But the Randolph and Mortimer Duke are perfect.
Yeah. So those four are more popular ones that most people know of. The fifth one, and this is just for me, one of my favorite movies is Just Friends, the comedy with Ryan Reynolds. There is for those of you who are American Pie fans, Chris Klein plays kind of like the bad guy in this movie, and his name in the movie is Dusty Dinkelman. And every time he gets brought up, they all do kind of like the, Dinkelman. And it is Chris Klein nails this part to the point where he is the first name and character I think of. It's not Ryan Reynolds. It's not Amy Smart.
Yes.
It is the first person I think of is Chris Klein as Dinkelman. And that is, so privately for me, the Dusty Dinkelman is like my super, super sleeper Christmas movie character that I could think of.
You know what's interesting?
What's that?
You told me to watch this movie and you gave it to me and I watched it.
Yeah. Are you implying something?
I am implying something.
Okay. Do you have any more on your list, or do you want me to start going through?
No, the other one I wanted to say was in Trading Places. I talked about Alfalfa was the kind of the sneaky character in It's a Wonderful Life. The guy in the gorilla suit at the end of Trading Places is Jim Belushi.
And he never reveals it?
I think it's barely.
Okay.
But when you even watch through the credits, it's Jim Belushi has a really, really bit part. The other thing, my daughter told me this, which I didn't know, back from It's a Wonderful Life, the guy who played Mr. Gower was a really, really famous silent movie star when he was younger.
Okay.
And he wasn't just this old guy who got this part. Like, he had a huge silent movie career, which I didn't know that either.
No, neither did I. Crazy. So here's a couple that we were shared. Mary went with Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life because he helps George and everyone watching realize that their life matters. Do you have any opinions on Claire? This is your favorite movie. So
I like he's such a and now I can't imagine anyone else being Clarence. But it's funny that they picked like,
can I play off of that?
A lovable, bumbling. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think there's certain roles in movies or theater where they're almost impossible to play. And a lot of those are like mystic or religious figures, right? So there's a reason Morgan Freeman always ends up playing God, because like just the voice and the presence. And I've always thought that Clarence role was way harder, and he made it look easier than what it probably was. Because to play what represents to most people like your guardian angel cannot be an easy role, because everyone has their interpretation of what their guardian angel is or looks like or what they would do or how they would act. I think that role is significantly harder than what maybe anybody realizes.
Maybe. Yeah.
I've always thought of that with the Clarence role.
I thought it was interesting that he's just such a little you just want to hug him.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting casting. I don't know how else you would do it, but Clarence is what the movie's about.
Well, he's the engine. I've heard that said before. I'm not a huge. I like It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not like a super fan, but I've had people say to me that Clarence is what makes the movie churn.
Yes.
So yeah, good one. We also have It's a Wonderful Life. George Bailey. You have played George Bailey.
I kind of am George Bailey in a way.
You have played George Bailey. Can you imagine anybody else as George Bailey?
No. Jimmy Stewart, and I'm not a classic black and white movie fan, so I've only seen Jimmy Stewart in a couple things. He is so effortless. Mm-hmm. He was in World War II. Mm-hmm. He's like a veteran. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, but it's just so smooth and so easy. And the dialogue with his brother, the dialogue with his mother, the one scene I love is when Uncle Billy comes out and he's all drunk and he's like, "Where's my hat?" And George just takes it off his head and hands it to him. And then he's like, "Oh, yeah." It is just, he was so talented.
I've always thought George, and I sound like I'm so in depth this, but this is the stuff I think of when I watch these things. The first time I watched George Bailey as like an adult, like actually getting to I always thought he did a great job of, everyone feels like they know a George Bailey, but no one knows anybody just like George Bailey. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have that friend or that uncle or somebody, but it's so distinct, the voice and the way he played him. So he kind of juxtaposed those two things of everyone has to feel like they know who you are, but you have to be so unique that you are George Bailey and people remember that. Right. And like you said, only Jimmy Stewart could have done that. So he nailed it. Heather, I love Buddy from Elf because nothing can ruin the magic of Christmas for him. He's such a true believer and see the best in absolutely everyone and everything. As a not Elf fan, do you at least appreciate what Ferrell did, or is that kind of why you're not a fan of Elf?
No, I think this is where it falls through for Elf, and I haven't watched Elf in a while. I should probably watch it again. It was one of those that this is the funniest movie you'll ever see. Okay. And then I watched it and I was like, it's good. Mm-hmm. This may be Ferrell's best performance. He just makes you believe that he is a 7-year-old kid who just loves Christmas and believes everything about it.
Yes.
He sells it.
His ability to play whimsical, his ability to just fall into oblivion of, I don't know, I'm excited. What could that Yes. The crazy part is they originally didn't want him to do it. And so that is, to me, the part that I can't even imagine somebody else playing.
Yeah, I can't either.
No.
But I should. Yes, Elf is much better than I give it credit for. But so I should probably give it another go.
That's all right. It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey. So there's another one for George. I feel, number one, do you think anybody could possibly be a more popular Christmas
I just
character?
went through Rotten Tomatoes did a list of the 69 best Christmas movies of all time. Okay. I was very curious as to why they picked the 69 best Christmas movies of all time. It just seemed like an odd number to throw out there. But and It's a Wonderful Life was one.
Yeah.
Now I will give you $1 billion if you can tell me what is two.
This is, I don't know how they gauge this.
I even have to, they do it on ratings. I even have to look it up because, no, I don't even know how. Because it got 81%.
What's the? Are you talking about movie or character?
Movies.
Okay, what was the movie?
8-Bit Christmas from 2021.
But see, you can't. Some of those lists you can't trust.
What the hell is 8-Bit Christmas?
Well, there's a lot of new Christmas movies. There's things coming out every year. Christmas movies didn't stop being made. There's new stuff all the time.
And this is one of the things that just drives me insane about these lists. So here,
you sound like an old fuddy-duddy, right?
Okay, so here we go. Grinch is there. Grinch is fine. So we'll just start at the back end. 69 is Remember the Night. 68 is the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Preacher's Wife, Dolly Parton, and the thing all the way. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? 61. 61.
Okay.
Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, there are 60 better Christmas movies than Christmas Vacation.
Well,
you know what there are not? 60 better Christmas movies.
It's not Rotten Tomatoes, though. It's the people voting on Rotten Tomatoes.
I guess.
Yeah.
But when they put this list out, like they have to kind of take some ownership of it.
Yeah. You have to remember, too, new movies typically have a better chance of moving up the list because they haven't gone, like, nobody's getting on to demote a movie. You're only getting on to promote the movie. So some of these newer things get jacked up because nobody's taking the time.
Okay, 60 is Love Actually, which I like. It ain't as good as Vacation. 59 is Krampus. Like, what in the hell is... 58 is a very Harold and Kumar Christmas. That's better than Vacation?
I don't disagree. It's just people rating, though. Everyone's going to have their own list.
All right. Well, that list made me mad.
So real quick, going back to George Bailey, outside of like your typical mystical cartoon, your Santa Claus, your Frosty, your Grinch, Rudolph, I don't know if there's a more popular Christmas character than George Bailey.
Well, he's like in the small town. He's a big businessman, but he's not an uber wealthy businessman.
Sure.
And he just is that guy that everybody kind of likes.
Yeah.
And
probably relatable to people.
Everybody knows somebody in town like that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Mindy goes with my favorite Christmas movie is Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. I have never seen this. Have you seen this?
Well, Mindy will be unhappy to know that according to Rotten Tomatoes, Dolly Parton, I just saw, that's why I remember this. Dolly Parton Christmas is at number 66, also behind Harold and Kumar.
What do you have against Harold and Kumar?
I don't know. I've never seen it, but it can't be that good.
Sherry goes with National Lampoon, Chevy Chase, classic, love it too. Griswold is up there. Uncle Eddie though.
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin.
Well, he is uncle to the kids.
Yes. I don't know who's the more, I don't want to say important because obviously you have to have Griswold, but is there is cousin Eddie more popular? Like is cousin
yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Okay.
The hat that cousin Eddie wears.
Yeah.
The crapper's full is the line that you hear 100 times throughout Christmas. When he's going through the grocery store and you can see the dickie through his white shirt.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man.
Leona, you've talked about this before too. She goes Christmas Vacation, that dang squirrel scene.
The squirrel is great.
She says that too. Cousin Eddie from Lisa as well. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas for Kids and Die Hard is the ultimate Christmas movie, Hans Gruber. There you go. That's from Deborah. No comment? You're just reading?
I was trying to, I couldn't follow the first. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas for Kids.
I've never
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Hans Gruber.
Have you ever seen a jug band?
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen an actual jug band.
The ones that are impressive to me are the kids in the cities who play drums on like buckets and
yeah.
There's some really, really talented street performers if you're in the city at the right time.
Yeah.
If you are ever, I know in Baltimore they used to do it because I lived in Baltimore and they have kind of down by the harbor.
They have the amphitheater. Or whatever.
Yes. If you ever see a street performer who's got like the unicycle, juggling, flaming thing, right. It is phenomenal. I'm telling you, I have been to Inner Harbor for like hours and it is the best show you'll see. And it's free. I mean, I go, you give the guy $10 at the end or $20 because it's that good.
Yeah.
But there will be hundreds of people around because they are that good.
That's funny. Karen, Charlie Brown Christmas is my favorite show because it gives us the true meaning of Christmas. And the message still stands all these years.
How about, is there anything like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree is the iconic, and it's something that everyone said, oh, look, there's the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yeah. Is it the non, what's the word I'm looking for? Non-human. Is it the most symbolic Christmas character from a Christmas movie?
That's not, yeah, probably.
The Charlie Brown
that he
Christmas
took the
tree.
ugly Christmas tree that nobody else
You
loved.
have the bell in It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it the bell? I would argue there's the bell in It's a Wonderful Life. You have the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I'm trying to think of other symbolic things from Christmas movies.
Hans falling out of the tower.
Rudolph's red nose is up there. I mean, that's part of, I guess, a living thing, but
yeah,
the red nose is pretty symbolic. People know when they see the red nose what's going on. That's a good interesting one.
That is good. That is a good one.
I think you're right, though. I think the one maybe that's most common in the lexicon would be the Charlie Brown.
The Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah.
Back to characters. I love Argyle from Die Hard, the limo driver.
Okay.
Argyle is great.
I really like Die Hard. I'm not someone that has to see it every year. If I don't see Die Hard this Christmas, like, I'm not devastated.
I'm devastated for you.
Are you?
It's okay. I've got you covered.
You feel bad for me.
I do.
In some other just like regular movie news, I saw Spider-Man yesterday. It might have been my favorite, and some of it's overplayed. There's tons of them now. It's getting harder and harder to sit through some of it. It might have been my favorite Marvel movie to date.
My daughter saw it.
Okay.
I said, "What did you think?" She said, "I loved it." She said, "You will either need to go back and watch the 8 previous Spider-Mans, or you will need to sit next to someone who can fill you in as you go along."
The first hour, I'm curious of her opinion on this. The first hour and a half, it helps to have seen them or have someone next to you in case you have questions. Once on the back end of the movie, the final hour, you're just along for the ride. And it's if you are a fan of superheroes or comic books, it is a fun hour because you get to dive into the history of it. You get to dive into past characters. They dump all this nostalgia on you, but it's not corny.
Okay.
And it is.
I'm a sucker for nostalgia.
I'm curious to see how other movies try to do this, because essentially what they're doing is all this multiverse stuff and pulling in different realities, and they do a decent job of keeping it straight, but at the same time, if they're gonna have a hard time balancing the nostalgia of all this stuff, they nailed it with Spider-Man. It was so enjoyable.
See, now this is where I am an enigma here when it comes to superhero movies. I loved Iron Man. I really like the old Supermans when I was a kid, when what's his name was playing Lex Luthor, Christopher Reeves, and Gene Hackman. Like, I love those. The Batman movies are not to me what they are to other people. Sure. I didn't like the Avengers. There's lots of superhero movies I really not only could do without, I do without. But the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans I liked.
Yes.
And but then it seemed like every year there was a new Spider-Man. Sure. And it's like Spider-Man 2, and I'm thinking, how can there be Spider-Man 2 when there have been 6 of them? They
tie all of this together. Everything that you just talked about for that last 10 seconds, they bring this all together with the multiverses, and it is, I hate using the word emotional for a superhuman movie, but it's sentimental.
Did you get teary-eyed?
It's nostalgic. I didn't get teary-eyed.
Did you bawl all over yourself?
I didn't. But there were a couple of moments where I was very much, I was invested in what was happening on the screen, and I have lost that in superhero movies. It has been 5 years since a superhero movie came out, and I was attached to what was happening on the screen because it's just so overplayed now. It's just like you feel like you're seeing a superhero movie. This was very, very good.
If you would have cried during Spider-Man, would your girlfriend have made fun of you?
No, but she knows I'm a crier. So that's completely different. I've told
She's
you
already accepted that about you.
I've told you before, the list of movies that I have cried at is not small. It's not difficult to tickle me to the point of tears. Like I am a sucker for certain lines.
There you go. Good for you. It's manly of you to admit that.
I was 12 or 13 the first time I saw Hardball. And in case you've never seen the ending of have you ever seen Hardball?
Is that the baseball movie with Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
That movie's awful. Oh my God, it's awful.
Well, wait, you never finished it, correct?
I did.
Okay. There is, at the end of that, it was the first time I ever cried at a movie, was the end of that movie.
And I get what they were going for.
Sure.
By that point, I was so annoyed that this movie made it to the big screen.
I cried at the end of Shawshank when Freeman gets to the beach.
Really?
I did. I cried at the end of Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
When he's back at the cemetery and he's saying, like, tell me I earned this. I lost it the first time I saw that. I'm trying to think of more recent ones I've lost it at, but there's not many. But yeah, I'm very easily to move to tears if like I'm invested into the movie.
I'll tell you the thing that I think I've said this before. The thing that chokes me up more than movies is the Olympics.
Yeah, you've told me that before.
Because I can't relate to it, but I get the pressure of
that one moment
of their moment in time. And at the time, like up until recently, I didn't even know. I think we've discussed this, and nothing says Christmas like talking about suicide rates. But the suicide rate of post-Olympic athletes is way higher than normal society because they've had this one-track focus for their whole life, and then when it's over, there's this emptiness. And they did a documentary on it called "The Weight of Gold" that Michael Phelps was highly involved with. He might have paid for the whole thing.
Okay.
Because he had talked about it too, and the struggles, because he had a DUI afterwards, and he was like, we build ourselves up to this moment, and everyone like, hey, you're a gold medalist, it's great, and then we wake up the next day and we don't know what to do, and we don't know where to go, and then the next day we don't, and kind of our whole lives for like these gymnasts and these figure skaters and our whole lives have been pushed towards being Olympian, and a lot of these people, even they were successful Olympians. It wasn't even that they got there and failed. They just got on the other side of it and didn't know where to go.
Right.
But when you can just imagine that their whole life, and for some of them when their ages,
sure,
especially if like swimmers can do it over and over, and some track and field people, but you get like these gymnasts, and if they're 17, they can't come back at 21. They're too old. Sure. It just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So this is it. This is your one floor exercise that you've waited your whole life for. Right. And the pressure has to be unbearable.
No, I totally agree. So you said you've never cried at a movie?
I'm sure I have. I'm trying to think of one.
Do you know like the last one you've cried at?
Did you ever see The Champ with Ricky Schroeder way back when? That's sad. That was the first movie that I remember. I was watching it at a friend's house, a neighbor's house. I won't mention her name because I don't want to embarrass her. And I remember being a little kid and like, oh my God, this is sad. I looked over and there's just tears just flooding. Okay. And I was like, all right, I can't look at that.
Yeah.
The Champ is sad.
Okay. I've never seen that one. I'll have to check it out. The best crying at a movie, and I may have told you this, I was younger. I believe we were on a plane on a trip to Vegas because like the whole family was going. My cousins were all younger, but the parents were adults and they were all going to Vegas, and we were just going to do a bunch of stuff. We saw like the Blue Man Group and like stuff like that. We're on the plane, and the movie on the plane, I'm 12 or 13. The movie on the plane was John Q. With
oh my Washington. Gosh.
And
oh my God!
So and at that time the planes only had the screens every so like you didn't have your individualized. So everybody on this plane is watching John Q. There's very few people not watching it, and I'll never forget this. There was a guy like 2 rows ahead of me in the very first row, and this was one of the biggest dudes I'd ever seen. Sleeveless, cut-off shirt. I mean, he was the epitome of a tough physical manliness, tattoos. It was, and I mean, he bawled, like tissues, tears. The flight attendants were like trying to find a tissue box for him. And I mean, don't get me wrong, people around me were crying too, but watching this old man just lose it on this plane, I was like, oh, like this is
John Q's a tough movie.
It is. It was hard. I was just young enough that I didn't have the father-son connection enough to really get lost. Like, it's funny. A year before that, I cried at Hardball. But like at that time, like I was 12 or 13 and the kid's 12 or 13. And so I could connect to it differently. John Q, I wasn't quite there, so I didn't cry at John Q. But watching grown men around me lose it over John Q, that was very much like a mind-blowing moment.
That's one of the most underrated movies, I think, of our time. You cannot watch John Q and not get emotionally
probably not
pulled in.
The most recent one, and this is a little bit like cheating, growing up, huge Michael Jordan fan, they just did the Last Dance documentary. And there is a scene in that, I don't want to ruin too much, but I don't think this really ruins it. There's a scene in like episode 6 or 7, and most people know it's where Michael Jordan falls, his dad's killed, he comes back and they win the championship that June on Father's Day.
I knew that.
Okay. And there's this scene that most people have seen where he goes into the locker room and he falls, he collapses to the floor with the trophy in his hands. Do you know this scene? Okay. For years, everyone knows that scene, but no one's ever heard the scene, right? It's always just been the video. There's no audio. In the documentary, there's no music or nothing. You actually hear him collapse onto the floor, and he is bawling. Like Michael Jordan is losing it at the fact of winning this championship on Father's Day after his father was killed. And I started crying because it was just like, oh my God, it was like a jolt. Like I'd seen that clip hundreds of times, him falling to the floor of the trophy, never heard it. And the audio, like actually hearing my sports idol, like lose it, I was like, oh my God.
I don't know if I've told you this, I might have. Back when I was in Baltimore and I did a sports talk show, and it was like a typical Tuesday afternoon and there was nothing, whatever. It's probably during football season or whatever. And, it's just like, whatever. And I said, all right, this is just guys, only guys calling today. I want to know what movie made you cry like a little girl. Okay. And we had 2 hours of full phone lines and people calling, movies I'd never heard of, movies I had heard of and whatever. And there are not, I'm trying to think now. I need to make a list, but there are.
Sometimes it's just the moment, the day, like what your situation. Because there's been movies where I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry, and I didn't. And then there's been times out of nowhere, and I'm kind of like, oh my God, like let's get it together.
The scene in Field of Dreams where he plays catch with his dad. The older I get,
that gets you.
The more it. The one in The Natural when he hits the home run and Wilford Brimley's got the tear rolling down his face with the lights. Like that's, those are kind of those are big.
That stuff gets you. There was I cried at another war movie. It just came out recently, like 5 years ago. It had Mark Wahlberg. It's 4 guys. They get stuck in Afghanistan and they're trying to come down. They have to come down this mountainside.
It's
why can't I think of the name of it?
It's It was the one guy was Mike Murphy.
Anyway.
Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor. And at the end, so the whole movie, I don't cry. Like I'm into it and I'm engaged. I don't cry. Not trying to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. At the end of the movie, though, they tell you about the tribe, the people, the natives in Afghanistan. They tell you about their life philosophy. Do you remember this at all?
Yes.
They put the word up on the screen and everything. And they put the word up on the screen and I was reading like what their community philosophy is. And I started bawling. And I think sometimes it just little things trigger you and it depends the moment and what you're looking for. I watched a war movie for 2 hours, didn't cry. And then one word came up on the screen in the definition and started to cry. So I don't know. I don't know what the trigger is.
The very, very end of Schindler's List is really tough.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I full out cried, but I certainly was holding it together.
Yeah, that's
at
tough.
the end of Schindler's
That is
List.
tough.
That one's tough. Any other ones you can think of?
Good. No, I mean, we went from favorite movie characters to movies that make you bawl your eyes out.
That's, listen, you don't think there's going to be some people watching some rom-coms on Christmas crying?
Bawling their eyes out.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because they're like,
you don't think that's relatable?
This is what I don't get. How do people watch Hallmark Christmas movies over and over and over and over and over when it's the same story? And I get like, we watch the same ones every year, and I watch It's a Wonderful Life and Die Hard and Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
But I think people start like December 1st, and every night they turn on the Hallmark Channel, and there's another one.
Yeah.
It's got a different title, but it's the same story, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's like watching a sports game, right? Like different characters, different
But you
games,
don't know how the game's going to end up.
Yeah, but some of these rom-coms you don't either.
You don't?
I think it's like listen, well, that's funny. You don't think the team that's favored isn't going to win most of the time?
They don't always.
Okay,
and that's why you watch.
And sometimes in the rom-com, the people you thought were going to get together don't always. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think you're a little rough on like the idea that it's not always the same thing.
I think it's always the same thing.
I think the same reasons you and I can watch the same football game against the 10-4.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
Are they going to be hot? Are they going to not?
And it's the same
Brady
thing with
doesn't always throw touchdowns.
Same thing with the rom-com. You don't know.
Brady got shut out last week.
You don't know.
The rom-com dude never gets shut out.
Listen, the younger brother could be better looking than you thought. And now all of a sudden you're rooting for him instead, and you didn't know you were going to, and you just don't know. You don't know.
Are there any rom-coms that don't end up the way the audience wants?
Yes.
Name
several.
one.
You don't think so?
No.
You really don't think so?
They give the audience what they want.
See, you're generalizing, though. You're assuming everyone's rooting for the same thing.
They are.
You think I'm rooting for the same thing as my girlfriend when we're watching a rom-com.
Unless you're just being a jerk, then yes.
No, I
What,
doubt
are you
we're
rooting for heartache all around? Or, like, I hope,
no. All right,
I
so
hope
for example,
she leaves them.
one of my favorites still is Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. There are very different ways and different relationships in that movie that you could root for. I know people that root for the McDreamy guy from New York in that movie. Like, they can't believe, like, how could she do that to him? Like, I can't believe. All I'm saying is it's just like sports.
I watched
If
Sweet
you've
Home
never
Alabama
seen it
once.
before, yeah. If
You know why I watched it?
Why?
Because you told me to.
There you go. And it's pretty good, isn't it?
It's shocking how that works.
Yeah. Anyway, let's spin some wheels. Let's have some winners. Go ahead and thank Weiss Markets and walk us through the board.
Thank you to Wise Markets for sponsoring the Midday Show, and I'm sure they are packed because it is not that anybody puts off anything but really a lot with food. You know, you can't get it too early.
Right.
So there is that. For all of us doing last minute shopping, it's different with last minute grocery shopping, but I'm sure there will be flood to the stores. So thank you to Wise Markets for providing all the stuff that they will provide for us and the community throughout the time of this holiday season, not just Christmas, but then into New Year's. On the board, we've got Eat and Run Catering, we've got Rainbow Carpet, we've got Williamsport Moving, we've got Fresh Life, we've got the CBD store, we've got Chaos Fun Zone, we've got the Moon and Raven, we've got Willard's, and we've got, did I say Fresh Life? If I didn't say Fresh Life, I meant to. And we've got Tony's Delicatessen. I drove past Tony's today, line out the door.
Really? About a week ago, I asked, they were doing some renovations there on a house, my girlfriend's family. And I said, do you want me to bring over lunch? And the response I got was, the fridge is full of Tony's. We're good for the day.
I mean, I was driving down the street and there was another store I saw today.
Yep.
And, you know, it is December 23rd. And if you there's another store I saw that doesn't advertise here, so I won't give them a free plug. Okay. But another line out the door. And it's like, there it is. Here we are getting ready for Christmas.
Yeah. It is. Tony's is a meal for people.
Oh.
Like the spreads and the dips, and people treat that like a meal.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of bad stuff in there.
Pretty good. Anyway. I'll let you decide. Do you want to do like, comment, or share?
Let's do comments.
All right, we're going to do comment first. Today's comment winner is going to be Patricia Sullivan.
There we go.
Let's do it.
I wonder if she's from Sullivan County.
Patty S. Let's do it.
There we go. So now one of these winners has to be Tony's since I just plugged them so hard.
Nope.
Eat and Run Catering.
Ooh, good one.
There we go. Eat and Run
Catering. Like or share?
Which one did I just do? I just did comments.
Yep. That's why I
share.
Gave you like
Let's
or share.
do share.
All right, we're going to do share first.
Yeah, I guess you did say that. I kind of blocked you out and then didn't pay attention.
Today's share winner is S.Sunshine. How's that for a Facebook name?
Okay.
S.Sunshine.
You are my sunshine. my only sunshine.
There you go.
You make me happy when it's 29 degrees outside. It was cold today.
It is cold today. It didn't
Well, yeah, it's true. Still is. Tony's. There it is. Tony's.
Way to
S.
go.
Dot Sunshine. There we go.
S. Dot. And then what's the last one we need to do?
The last one.
We need to do like.
What do we do? Like.
We're going to do like. Our like winner for today is going to be Catherine Ross Reisner.
I would go with Reese, but it could be Rice. Either one, you're close.
We're just going to call her CRR.
It's like CCR, but CRR.
Yes.
Do you know who CCR is? Creedence Clearwater Revival?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen the rain?
I want to know. That is Williamsport Moving.
All right.
So we have a gift card. There is Panera. They sent a $25 gift card because you're not moving. You can't, but it's sponsored by Williamsport Moving. So we'll send a $25 gift card to Panera.
Congratulations to Patricia. Congratulations to S. Dot. And congratulations to Catherine. Again, a quick reminder. You can like, comment, or share on this video. This is the last opportunity to do it. Tomorrow will be our last day spinning the wheel. Like, comment, or share. You can do one or all three. Last time, do all three. Throw your your name in the hat, your hat in the ring.
Hat in the ring.
The turntables have turned. I don't know. What are some of the other ones I can mess up?
No, hat in the ring. Name in the hopper. I think isn't that how it goes? Yeah, we're not running up the flagpoles. A different cliche.
I think that's a different one.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Anything else before we head out today?
No. Good luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you. It'd be a good one.
Not that you need it. Because you guys win. Because you guys win all the time. No, all you do is win.
We need it, and we will gladly take it. If no one's busy tonight, at Williamsport High School, Loyal Sock versus Williamsport is arguably the biggest rivalry in high school basketball. Is that
around here, without a doubt.
Around here?
Without a doubt.
Is that a fair? I don't want to. I'm not trying to not think of. I'm not necessarily from here, so that I don't want to just proclaim it if it's not.
Now, I would think that in our region, the biggest football rivalry is either like Southern Mount Carmel, Shamokin, down there, because there's so much history in the coal region. And I think it would. I don't know, because Southern has they always win.
Yeah.
Maybe the Mount Carmel Shamokin game is now bigger because each side thinks they have a chance or whatever. But that's in our region. That's where the biggest football, the biggest basketball game is Loyal Sock and Williamsport, and it's also because of it's the David and Goliath ish. When you just look on paper, Loyal Sock should not be able to play with Williamsport. You just shouldn't. And it is a very competitive. It's close to 500, right? Loyal Sock has a couple more wins than losses.
We were trying to go through it last night because I think this is my 11th season. The last 12 years, I think it's 6-6 or 7-5. So it has been. I mean, over a decade, it has been incredibly competitive. 2 of the last 3 have been overtime, if I'm remembering that correctly. And the one that wasn't overtime was a buzzer. It was Adrice scored with 10 seconds to go to win it. So it has been collectively the last couple of years. It has just been a battle every single time.
And because it's so close, like these kids play on the playground all the time. It's not like they know each other.
Yeah,
they play together 1,000 times in pickup games and in summer leagues and on travel teams.
Some of them in the summertime, it's every day.
Yeah,
it's
so it is a great game.
It is, and the Magic Dome is still there's just going up on the hill and the brick wall, and it is something special about the Magic.
I have said, and we District 4 does at Shikellamy. Because it's kind of centralized and stuff like that. I love Shikellami's gym. I think they do a great job with it. But the District 4 basketball championships should either be at Bucknell or they should be at Williamsport. And I've always believed that, and I will always believe that until, that they should just pick it. And I know District 4 kind of sees who's playing, and then they pick one and they find one. They should just set it up at the beginning of the year. It should be, and I've heard that Bucknell charges too much.
Bucknell's expensive, from my understanding. The Williamsport one is tricky. I believe Williamsport's challenge isn't necessarily not wanting to do it. It's more about wrestling, swimming,
Oh, they host wrestling.
They're hosting now. Even though swimming, you're not using the gym. It's still like it's parking, it's facilities, it's workers. It's very challenging. So I think they do some stuff for swimming in districts or league meets before it goes down to Bucknell. I'm pretty sure. And then I'm pretty sure they host the wrestling. I think they do wrestling districts.
Williamsport does districts and regionals at wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that maybe, okay.
So there's
I'll give them a break there.
There's a scheduling aspect to it that basketball has always just kind of taken a back seat. And I mean, a lot of games still end up there. I mean, last year, our boys and girls both played there.
On weeknights, they get there, but you're right. They have 2 weekends in a row that they get booked with wrestling.
Yes.
And that is kind of historic. So, I guess that is fair. That's fair.
It's still, I mean, and even the way you walk down in.
Because it's sunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. Like when you walk, there's a baseball stadium feel to it. That's how Camden Yards is. And that's how you walk in and at ground level and then the court's below you.
Right.
It is. Williamsport High School is an awesome place for the kids to play. It really is.
Really, really neat. So if you're bored tonight, if you're not busy, go check it out.
Go check it out with 3,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah, my understanding is that it is full capacity. That's what I have been told. So
that they are accepting full capacity?
Yes.
So it's a super spreader is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. My point being is that if you're bored tonight, you should be able to get it.
It is
told it's full capacity.
If you like high school basketball in central Pennsylvania, this is as good as it gets.
Nice.
It really is.
Anything else you want to shout
out? No. One more shopping day.
Yeah.
This is it. We're out of time. Wrapping.
Got to wrap it up.
We are. I wrapped a little last night.
Did you?
I made some progress, but it is because it's like, well, I got to do one of these nights. I only got so many nights left.
I had a buddy. I told you we saw Spider-Man yesterday. I had a buddy who didn't go, and his response back was like, "If we don't wrap some presents today, we're in trouble." So,
yeah, I made progress.
Yeah,
I was proud of myself. So, hey, one of us is going to jail, and it's not going to be me. So that must be you. That must be you.
Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. Thank you to Weiss Markets for being a title sponsor. Thank you to everybody on the wheel with the gift cards. And be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all your local news.
We'll see you.
I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. We will see you tomorrow for the 12th and final day of the 12 days of giveaway.